born to spin on a wheel. You were born to break it and live. From the moment we are born, we are handed a silent, repetitive formula. Study, work, pay bills, spin the hamster wheel. No one asks if it makes sense. No one wants us to question it. They just tell us to follow the plan. First, they lock you in a classroom with desks in neat rows. They call it school, but it's not a place for thinking. It's a place for training. There, you learn to repeat, memorize, obey, and think just enough not to break the system, but never enough to realize you're trapped within it. Then comes the job market. Now you must produce, be useful, perform. It doesn't matter if you hate what you do. The important thing is that the bills get paid every month, and they always do, with money, with time, with health, with your life. Day after day, you spin that wheel, running like a lab rat, thinking you're going somewhere. But all you do is stay in the same place, only more exhausted. This is the truth no one wants to hear. Those who aren't at the top of the pyramid weren't educated to live. They were domesticated to function like machines that breathe but do not dream. You wake up, work, consume, sleep until you die. And the scariest part is that anyone who tries to get off that wheel is labeled crazy, irresponsible, or a dreamer because breaking that program annoys those still blind. But maybe you're feeling something different now, a discomfort, a doubt, and that's good because the first step to getting off the wheel is realizing you're on it. In this video, we're going to tear off that invisible blindfold placed over your eyes. You will understand how we were programmed to live a meaningless life and, most importantly, how to escape before it's too late. If this topic bothers you, perfect. It's supposed to. That discomfort may be your first sign of life, the first step toward finally waking up from the illusion of the modern cycle. What is the hamster wheel? Have you ever felt like you're running but not moving forward? Like your life is an endless loop. Wake up, work, pay bills, solve problems, and start over? That feeling is no accident. You are inside an invisible trap called the hamster wheel, designed to seem normal. From childhood, you were taught there is a right path. Study hard, get good grades, choose a safe profession. Work hard, buy a house, go into debt, retire someday, and then you will live. But that someday almost never comes. Because when you finish school, you must already think about college. When you enter college, about internships. When you get a job, about promotion. And when you achieve that promotion, you're trapped in a lifestyle demanding more and more. So you run and run, thinking you're moving forward, but in reality, you were conditioned to confuse movement with progress and to think that being busy means being alive. Here comes Socrates with one of the most powerful metaphors in philosophy, the allegory of the cave. He describes men chained at the bottom of a cave who can only see shadows projected by a fire behind them. To them, those shadows are reality. One day, one prisoner is freed and sees the sunlight. At first, it hurts and confuses him, but little by little, he discovers the real world. When he tries to return to free the others, he is rejected because to them, the shadows remain the only truth. The hamster wheel is that cave. Work without purpose, routine without reflection, success without meaning. You live trapped in a shadow theater where what seems real is not. And the worst part is many don't even want to leave because leaving means pain, light, and accepting that maybe you spent your life chasing something that was never yours. That wheel wasn't made for you to conquer freedom. It was made for you to function, obey, consume. You were trained to spin, not to think. But now that you've seen the wheel, recognized the cave, you can no longer pretend you don't know. Maybe while you listened, a question arose. If I don't work, how will I pay my bills? How will I live? I understand. It's a legitimate and real question, born from fear and daily responsibility. No one is saying you should quit everything and live on light. The reflection is different. The problem isn't work. It's living as if there were no other option. From childhood, you were molded to fit a mold. Study, obey, be punctual, don't question, accept orders. That's the invisible programming whispering, don't dream too much, don't take risks, stay where you are. You enter adulthood with that script telling you your worth depends on how much you produce. You start believing rest is laziness, thinking is waste, and you only deserve recognition if you're exhausted. And so life becomes a sequence of tasks, bills, goals, anxiety, and zero purpose. Money, status, productivity. But no one asks if you like what you do or if you're merely surviving. When you think about changing, the paralyzing thought comes, what about the money? That reveals how conditioned you are. The idea of earning money is tied to sacrifice, believing if you're not suffering, you're not working right. And that work only has value if it drains your energy and steals your peace. But what if money could come from something that connects you? Something you do with pleasure, meaning, and true dedication? Free people aren't those who don't work. They are those who choose a conscious path with clarity and autonomy. They still pay bills and have obligations, but they don't live for them. Freedom isn't about stopping work. It's about stopping blind obedience to a system that forces you to live on autopilot. You can make money, pay bills, have a practical life without selling your soul. Mental programming makes you believe there's only one path, but there are thousands. You just don't see them because you're wearing the dirty glasses the system gave you. The first step is that, realizing how you were shaped, how you act without thinking, how you fear breaking the mold even when it suffocates you. You need to break that cycle and build with your own hands a path that makes sense, not just for others, but for you. Breaking the cycle, getting off the wheel, rebuilding freedom. Look around you. Hurried people on buses, trains, cars, cell phones in hand, tired faces, empty eyes, running to nowhere, for no reason. Most don't even ask because thinking bothers, hurts, threatens the cycle. But there comes a moment out of exhaustion or desperation when you must face the truth. You're living a routine you didn't choose. And if you keep going, at 60, you'll realize you spent your life maintaining a machine running without ever discovering who you really were. Breaking that cycle isn't about becoming a guru or quitting everything to run off to a deserted beach. It's about looking in the mirror and admitting, I'm not living how I want. I betray myself every day. Yes, you have bills to pay. Yes, you have responsibilities, but that's no excuse to stay numb. You can keep your obligations and regain your consciousness at the same time. It begins when you stop using tiredness as an excuse not to think, when you start saying no to what drains you, when you stop running out of fear and start walking by choice. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do need to change how you see your life. Wake up from the trance where waking up, working, complaining, and repeating became the norm. That's not life. It's maintenance of existence, robotic survival. Breaking the cycle means refusing to give your best to things that don't represent you. Refusing to let your mental health silently pay the price. Refusing to applaud your own prison with phrases like, "At least I have a job," or "At least the paycheck comes every month." You weren't born to survive on "at least." And before you say, "But I have no other choice," stop. You always have a choice, even if small or painful, to learn something new, to stop numbing yourself with cheap distractions, to say, "Today I won't ignore myself anymore." Those who escaped the wheel weren't smarter. They just stopped accepting life as it was. Yes, it's scary because you'll be outside the herd, called ungrateful, arrogant, restless. But what no one tells you is that this means you're starting to live. Do you know what freedom is? Being able to look at your routine and see your own choices in it. Being able to sleep at night knowing what you do has soul. Understanding that work isn't the problem, but burning out in the process is. You don't need to quit everything, but you do need to stop quitting on yourself every day. That is the true break. When you say, "Enough. I won't spin this wheel anymore without knowing why. And if no one gave you permission to change, let me give it to you now." You have the right and the duty to rebuild your life before it's too late. Want the truth? The system we live in wasn't made for you to be free. It was made for you to be useful, functional, obedient. It needs you to fear failure, fear change, fear thinking for yourself. Because people who are afraid work quietly, and those who don't think consume endlessly. What angers me most, and I say it with anger, is that this machine swallows millions of people every day. Good people, talented people, who could be creating, helping, living, but who became just another gear spinning quietly, tired, invisible. That is not life. That is a slow-motion grave. If you feel this destroying you inside, you're not crazy. You're waking up. Only those who begin to wake up realize how deeply they were asleep. Listen carefully. You can still get out. There's still time to turn the game around, no matter your age, your history, or your bank account. The revolution doesn't start outside. It starts inside. It starts when you stop following like a zombie. When you look in the mirror and say, "Enough. I won't accept this empty life." It doesn't mean quitting everything and becoming a hermit. It means making conscious decisions, taking control of your time, your mind, your choices, and stopping abandoning yourself. You can keep earning money without selling your soul. You can work with purpose, limits, and direction. And if no one ever told you this before, I'm telling you now, you deserve more. More than bills, more than exhaustion, more than routine. You deserve to feel alive. If this video made you think, comment below. I choose to get out of the wheel. Declare your awareness, your break, your courage. Let's see who is truly waking up.